is MTHFR or MTHFR mutation. So MTHFR is an enzyme that converts folate or folic acid into methylfolate. So a lot of people believe that if you have a mutations in that gene, you have problems with detox, for example. That's one of the main concerns I get, or people ask me, is because I have these mutations, I cannot detox. My liver is not able to eliminate toxins, and so on and so on. At the end of the day, there's more than 600 different conditions related to these mutations. So let's get back to basics. So folate or folic acid, sometimes people believe it's the same thing, but it's two different vitamins. So it's a vitamin of the family of vitamin B9. So this family has 8 members that we find in our food. And folic acid is one member and folate is another one. So a lot of people believe that if you have a mutations in MTHFR, you cannot convert folic acid into methylfolate. And that's why you need to use folate as a source of B9. So this is more or less true, as we're going to see today. So back in the days, in the 30s and 40s, people, doctors, researchers would actually isolate folic acid from food. Actually, they would use liver and green like spinach to isolate, to purify folic acid. So when people tell me that folic acid is a synthetic vitamin, it's not good for you, that's not quite the case, because folic acid is found in our food supply. So if you eat meat or greens, you actually ingest folic acid. So folate is, like I said, another type of B9 that is found in our food as well. So there's 8, like I said, that your body can utilize and process. So when you ingest folic acid or folate, this MTHFR enzyme transform these B9 into methylfolate. So sometimes people say that, oh, because I have these mutations, let's take methylfolate directly. So to bypass the whole thing, but that's not quite healthy as well, as we're going to see in a few minutes. So folic acid, if you have a mutation, so there's about 40 mutations in this enzyme. And the most common one, the most studied one, is what we call C to T mutation or A to C mutation. So the A to C mutations are not as common. About 5% of the population will have those mutations. And there's 2 copies of this enzyme. So if you have a mutation in one copy, the other copy, which is wild type, can take over and you don't have any problem. So this is true for both C to T and T to C mutation. So if you have one mutation in one of these 2, you'll find. But the problem is if you have that C to T mutation and 2 copies of your genes have these mutations, up to 70% of the activity of this enzyme is gone, is lost. And this is where people will say, oh, my enzymes is not working like it needs to and have problem to purify and so on and so on. From a biochemistry point of view, 30% of the enzyme is still functional. So you need at least 90% loss in the enzyme activity for you to have problems. So you have 2 copies of mutations, so you're most likely you're okay. However, you need to look at the whole pathways. So there's between 15 and 20 components we need to look at when it comes to the MTHFR pathways. And these components are all nutrition related. So there's a few components like zinc deficiency, vitamin D deficiency, vitamin B1 deficiency, vitamin B12 deficiency, DHA, choline, betaine, vitamin B2. So like I said, there's 15, 20 different components we need to look at if you have those mutations. So at the end of the day, clinically, it's not because you have mutations that you're doomed, that you cannot do anything. As long as you make this cycle, this pathway working, those mutations actually do not have any impact in your body. So in other words, when I meet people with these mutations, they are concerned with detox. But my goal is to make sure that everything is working well. This pathway is open and detoxing well by looking at all those different components. And if you fix all these components, these mutations do not do anything in your body. At the end of the day, genes don't impact or don't control your detox as long as you do the right thing with nutrition. Okay, so and the main component is vitamin B2. It has been shown that if you're having B2 deficiency in people who don't have the mutations, they have same problem as people who have the mutations. In other words, if you have those mutations in that pathway, you have to make sure that you're not deficient in B2. B2 bypasses the whole pathway. It fixes the whole thing. So these mutations do not affect the detox and does not affect your body. So B2 is really the key. And like I said, this enzyme is involved in converting folic acid or folate into methylfolate. So people will say, oh, I have those mutations, so let's bypass that and let's just take methylfolate pill. So those pills are really popular, actually. And the irony of it is those pills actually are synthetic. You cannot isolate methylfolate from food enough to make pills out of it. So all of those supplements that you get out there that are methylfolate actually are synthetic. They are man-made. And those supplements actually can have major side effects. I've seen so many people over the years having those mutations and taking the methylfolate, believing they did well, but decided to have side effects. And there's dozens of side effects when it comes to this supplement, like insomnia, for example, stress, anxiety, for example, heart problems, hormonal issues, and so on and so on. So this pathway has 7 checkpoints to make sure that everything is working well. So when you take methylfolate, you actually bypass these 7 checkpoints, and this pathway goes crazy, and that's why you have those side effects. And one of the concerns that we have with these supplements is if you have too much methylations, which happen with methylfolate, you increase the methylation of your gene way too much, and they can actually lead to cancer. And there's quite a bit of studies and evidence of this unfortunate situation. So personally, I do not recommend any of those supplements. So the key here, like I said, is to look at what is damaged, what is broken in this pathway, so we can fix each of these different 15, 20 parts, so these mutations do not affect your body. Okay, and this is the key. So we need to look at deficiencies, like I said, in these different vitamins, and B2 is the main one. On the other side, we need to ask, okay, what broke, what has damaged that pathway? And the main answer to it is toxins. Toxins like mercury, aluminum, arsenic, pesticides like Roundup. Those toxins end up into your cell, disrupting those pathways. As you can see, it's a little bit of a vicious cycle because people believe that if you have those mutations, you cannot detox. So all those toxins stays in your body. But the other side, the main culprit of why this pathway is not working is toxins exposure. So the key we need to look at is figure out a way to detox. And there's many ways that we can utilize. And this is part of what we do, is to figure out, okay, how to support the body to properly detox the body so we can fix these pathways and then fixing the deficiencies. So the take-home message at the end of the day, if you have those mutations, do not give up. There's hope. That's not the cause of your problem. The cause of your problem is you have deficiencies in the body. And that's why this pathway is not working, for example. All the toxins that you've been exposed throughout the years, these toxins actually cause a lot of problem into your body, and we need to find a protocol, a way to slowly detox your body. I hope it makes sense. If you have any question on about this pathway, the MTHFR, and all the mutations, please, you can write a comment below. On this note, thank you for watching. Have a blessed day.